A special presentation from the KTVB Newsroom. Bronco Roundup Game Day starts now.
I don't know what to expect as far as the crowd at Boise. I've never been there. I don't even know where it is on the map.
Boise State and UNLV for the Mountain West title. Here we go from the blue turf in the Treasure Valley of Idaho. Williams with pressure coming. He is sacked. Rodney Robinson hit him low. Simpson went high. Hanson, end zone right on the money. It's a touchdown for Caples. Hanson felt the heat from Doyle, turned upfield. Oh, what instincts! Touchdown! And there he goes. JT into the clear blue. Touchdown! Boise State, Mountain West champions, and on the way to the college football playoff.
Well, it has been 316 days since Boise State and UNLV last squared off right here on the blue. It ended with the Broncos punching their ticket to the college football playoffs and the goalposts plunging into the Boise River. Good afternoon. Thanks so much for being with us here. I'm Jordan Smith, Austin Parr alongside me. We've got one heck of a matchup here this afternoon, Austin.
Undefeated UNLV with a brand new head coach looking for their first win against Boise State in nearly half a century.
You have to go back to the 70s to the last time UNLV was able to squeak out a win over Boise State. Obviously a time where these were two different programs. But of course, this is the fourth time in 3 seasons these two teams have played. A lot has changed, though, from that icy December night when Boise State punched their ticket to the Fiesta Bowl. UNLV's identity, brand new with a brand new coach.
Brand new head coach, that is. Remember a few of those, right? A couple of Florida Gators.
Dak Prescott.
Kyle Trask.
Kyle Trask.
Throwback.
You've got so many legendary players that this guy has coached, and he has shown he can get it done. 109-61 record as a head coach. And he did something that every good coach can do. He leaned into the strengths of his star football players on the field, which in turn led to explosive plays and a couple of Heisman candidates along the way. The results speak for themselves. In 2020, when he was the head coach at Florida, the Gators had the #1 passing offense in the country. A lot of success has stemmed from having
What he's got here at UNLV. Electrifying dual threat quarterback who can beat you in the air and on the ground. Anthony Calandria has been fantastic in his first 6 games as a starter with the Rebels. The junior, 1,500 yards. The other star on this team, of course, Jaden Thomas, 5'9". You said it earlier this morning. He's as tall as you, but about 10 times more powerful and explosive.
Right, he's my size, but I think he can squat my car. I think this guy is unbelievable, and you see what he can do in those highlights when he gets space. He's so fast, explosive. We talk about a couple of the players that Boise State has been up against this year. You can't just shoulder check this guy and get him to the ground. He's gonna bounce off you and make his way into the end zone. This is an offense that Coach Danielson says the Broncos cannot take lightly this afternoon.
That offense is rolling. I think they're a top 20 offense in every category. First downs, touchdowns, yards. They're a very, very explosive offense. Obviously, Dan Mullen, offensive guy. You see that. You see the explosive bones. They mix in tempo. They're explosive. They got one of the top running back. I think Thomas, number 9, is averaging like 8 or 9 yards a carry, which is a lot.
A lot, to say the least. The good news is Boise State's defense, as much criticism as it has received this season, they really sprang to life last Saturday under the lights right here on the Blue.
Hey, it was a cold and loud evening right here at Albertson Stadium. The win over New Mexico. Let's show you how it happened last Saturday.
It was brisk, to say the least, Austin. You mentioned it. And the Lobos, it was Jack Lane and Jason Eck making their first game against Boise State. Didn't start well. First drive of the game, Jack Lane fumbles, Broncos all over it. They'd kick a field goal, go up 3-0.
Not how you want to try to steal momentum.
Not at all. And next possession, they try to beat him through the air, and that's Amarian McCoy picking it off. Look at the hops. You said he had hops for breakfast that day. Gets the interception, and that sets up Sire Gaines for the touchdown. 10-0 Broncos.
Yeah, it was a
Proud of us having a much better.
but hey, the Lobos, they wouldn't go away. Kickoff return for a touchdown, and then they actually took the lead in the second quarter. These Broncos, they play so well at home. This is one of the reasons why they are so hard to beat in this place. They always seem to have an answer, and the answer was Ben Ford right before halftime.
And then fourth quarter, 3-point game. Just feed it to the big bowling ball they have as a running back. That's Sire Gaines. It was his second touchdown of the night. Boise State would end up putting New Mexico away. This was the dagger right here. The
play of the
fire
night.
drill.
Fire.
The play, it's a good snap. It just slips through the hands of the placeholder. Not even from this continent, Austin, but he drops a dime to our boy Grizzle for 6.
The Australian punter, Oscar Doyle, drops a dime to the local kid from Mountain View High School, Troy Grizzle, getting his first touchdown on a special teams play that you wouldn't have even thought would ever happen. I don't think that's how Grizzle would think he would get his first touchdown as a Boise State Bronco.
Not how they drew it up, but it was exactly how they drew it up for the defensive guys. Coach Danielson very pleased with their performance.
Proud of us having a much better second half than we've shown in the previous games that we've lost. So proud of our guys finding a way to finish. Proud of us doing a good job in the fourth quarter. They're one of the top fourth quarter teams in the country. We are not, but we were better tonight. And so that's tough to build. And obviously, we'll talk about some of the negatives here in a little bit, but really proud of our defense. They had to deal with a lot tonight, a lot of personnel groupings, trick plays, run the football, all that. And they responded really, really well. There's obviously some things to clean up, but they tackle better, really good on third down. We're able to get after the quarterback. Those are foundational things for us. Braxton Feely continues to be one of the better D linemen in the country.
That he is. Braxton Feely with a big-time sack in this one. Braxton Feely continues to be a rising star for this defense. Starts up front on the defensive side. Defensive line has to get pressure. He did a big-time sack. Broncos moved to 2-0 in the Mountain West Conference with a statement victory against New Mexico.
Well, and how about Braxton Feely? He's a guy who briefly enters the transfer portal to test the waters, see what other options might be out there.
Not always greener on the other side.
And he found that out. He said that's not the camaraderie, not the brotherhood that he saw at Boise State. It helped him come back to this team. He had to earn the respect of his teammates once again, and he's showing that in practice and, of course, on the field here. Danielson can't say enough good things about this guy week in and week out.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk, too, about the 55 sacks last year and how they haven't really created that same pressure that they had last year. But offenses are molding their game plans around this defensive line because they're so talented. It starts with Braxton Feely. You got Jaden Virgin Morgan. Those guys are so big, so powerful, so physical up front that literally offenses are changing their playbooks, getting the ball back, getting the ball out quickly by their quarterbacks. That's why there hasn't been as many pressures, but a big-time game from both of those guys last week.
Absolutely. And I feel like we'd be kicking ourselves if we didn't revisit that amazing special teams play. Not designed by any stretch.
No, not at all. They call it the fire drill. We talked about it. A chaotic play that happened late in the game last Saturday against New Mexico. Perfect snap, like you said, just kind of slips through the hands.
And look at
they tell you to just roll out, and Grizzle had said that he knew something was going on because he didn't hear the kick go through. So he rolled out, and Oscar Doyle drops a perfect pass right in the bucket to Troy Grizzle. Look at this pass.
That's a dot from the Aussie.
Absolute dot. Doyle dot.
That's press coverage right there. I mean, that is a tight window, and he just floats it only where his man could get it. Grizzle, his first career touchdown as a Bronco. Certainly not how we probably imagined it.
No, not at all.
But it
hey,
still counts.
And hometown kid to get a play like that, a broken play for your first ever touchdown, somebody who switched from defense to offense. You're talking about a guy who played defensive line, switch to tight end, has that position that Danielson and him himself likes to say that it's a position that goes to die because you're trying to block 2 to 3 different players. As you see, Mr. Doyle himself, the Doyle dot last weekend. That might go down as one of the most legendary plays in this special teams history.
Pretty surprising to see him in long sleeves. It feels like on such a sunny day, the Aussie would be loving this. Just no shirt underneath, but he's decked out. You talk about a guy that's come in here, and he is so good at flipping the field when he needs to. When the offense just isn't getting their job done, Mr. Doyle has been a force for special teams, able to pin teams back. We saw him do it several times against New Mexico last week. This is a guy you want in your corner, especially as we get late into the season and those games might get a little bit closer as we inch towards those November games.
Yes, field position is everything when it comes to these deep Mountain West games. It's going to be cold. It's going to be, very tough to gain yardage, and obviously offenses are going to struggle down the stretch, so the punter has to be able to pin teams back and really give the defense an opportunity to go out and make some plays. I will say this, however, after that pass, you have to think that they have to have a trick play now designed to him, because they know that he can pass a football now, right? You got to think so, right?
I would think, yeah. It's like, okay, well, maybe this opened up some doors for us here. Real quick, though, let's
check these Smurfs out in the crowd right now.
Oh, I love that. The Blue Men group making an appearance in the front row of the student section. We're going to have to get a camera over there in just a second because that is awesome. But let's hear from the man himself, the hometown kid who caught that touchdown. Really didn't get a lot of press time up until this moment. You can tell he was
interview
excited.
Ever.
He was super excited to rehash this memory.
It's been a goal of dream of mine since I was a little kid. Growing up in the Boise area, always coming to the games with my family. From when I was younger than 5, I was always wanting to play on the blue and be a Bronco, and especially score was a life goal, which I'm very happy.
How could you not be?
Happy indeed. I mean, the first ever touchdown is a play like that. It's just unbelievable. You love to see the hometown stories kind of come together, come to fruition. Redshirt freshman getting a touchdown right here. They might put something in the end zone later on. That's the Doyle dot to Grizzle.
The Doyle dots. Hey, why not, right?
Throw it out there.
Growing up, going to the games, being able to catch a touchdown pass in that orange turf in the end zone, that's a memory that's going to stick with him forever. It's something you can tell your kids, your grandkids about, like, hey, fire drill has a different meaning for this guy.
Fire, fire, fire. Kids are going to know what that means.
Well, let's talk about the dominant defensive performance New Mexico went up against with this Boise State defense. You talk about the 2 turnovers in 2 consecutive possessions. This defense finally catching fire. We've been waiting for that takeoff moment. I think the floodgates have finally dropped down. And these guys were putting hits on QB Jack Lane, getting into the backfield. And you remember, of course, that pick from Amarion McCoy. Everybody doing their jobs, hat on a hat. They held New Mexico, I want to say it was 60 yards of total running offense in 24 attempts. I don't care who you're playing. That's outstanding football, especially against a conference opponent.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for this defense is they got so much flack early on for being one of the worst pass-rated defenses, all the yards against Air Force. But the thing is, this defense comes in as a 31st ranked passing defense. That's one of the tops in all of FBS football, and they continue to shine week in and week out. They had a big-time performance against New Mexico. Not starting off the Jason Eck era very sharp, making sure that he feels what it's like to play against a Boise State defense. We remember the quote that he talks about. He wanted to play Boise State when he was at Idaho. Don't really think he feels the same way. More leaning towards, thank goodness they are out of the Mountain West Conference and going to the Pac-12 next year.
Well, the Blue and Boise State, that's been on Jason Eck's radar for a while now. The head coach they're playing today, Dan Mullen, first time playing against Boise State, didn't know a lot about the history of this series between the two teams, didn't know a lot about the blue turf. Here was his response to a question from a reporter earlier this week during a press conference when he was asked about this blue turf.
Hey fans, don't forget that Sparklight is the sponsor of all official reviews throughout. With the blue turf, is there any difference, or is it just going to be something that's part of the game?
I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, that's their deal. If they like it, and it's kind of cool. We'll see. I've never seen it, so I have no idea if it does anything except for, right? I heard it kills birds. Is that right? No, that's a tragedy. But I guess if they have the conscience. I feel like every time like I go outside and there's like a bird that tried to go through my window and is dead, I feel really sad. So, you know, I guess if they don't have a conscience, they like killing the birds on the turf. That's what they're doing.
You gotta love a guy with a sense of humor because he's just a funny, quirky, likable guy, kind of a similar personality to Jason Eck. What kind of the myth is for a lot of people who aren't familiar with Boise State is that birds would come in and they would mistake the blue for a body of water and they would crash into it. It was just kind of an urban legend. It was actually kind of a marketing scheme when the blue got rolled out initially back in the 80s, which I learned about from Mark Johnson. So kind of funny to see that rumor made its way to Dan Mullen's legendary SEC coach.
Yes, something that I didn't know either. I thought when I first heard the press conference, I thought it was a little interesting and kind of weird. I was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, what is this?
But I think they should switch the myth from birds to offenses.
Ooh.
Because it really seems like offenses go to die right here on the blue.
So do dreams for the opposing teams. You look at these stats here, we'll pull it up. On the blue, Boise State, 215-45 record. That's pretty impressive, Austin. Pretty tough place to win here. As it stands right this second, Boise State is tied with Alabama for the longest active home winning streak in the country. This crowd gets so into it. They've got the false start tracker. They get so into this game, and you can tell how much pride this team takes in defending their home turf. And it shows, not just against non-conference, especially Mountain West opponents, Austin.
15 consecutive wins on the blue. This is going to be the 12th consecutive sellout. The players care. The fans obviously care themselves. It's such a big deal to defend the blue, and really it starts with the defense. Honestly, got to defend the blue. They're looking to do that against an undefeated UNLV team today.
Good news against Mountain West opponents at home. Boise State 47-7.
I think that's pretty good.
You like the odds if you're Boise State fans. You just saw kickers warming up here. We're going to talk about the guy who is booming the football all season long. It's your boy Colton Boomer.
Colton Boomer, the question marks were there in the beginning of the season. The media brought it up as far as the kicking game goes, but Boomer is booming. He's answered all the critics' questions so far this season.
So proud of him, no doubt. I mean, early on, like I said, we leave Eastern Washington. We get a PAT block because the kick ain't great. We've got some, and then how he's responded since then with kicking a bunch of touchbacks, right? That's a huge positive for us. We need to continue to do that. Nails a 50-yard field goal, nails another field goal in the game. I mean, he's a competitor. He's a great teammate, and our team is way better because Colton Boomer.
Colton Boomer knows pressure because he's felt it. Boomer hasn't looked back since. 4 straight makes, including a 50-yarder against New Mexico. And he's been near perfect on kickoffs, ranked among the top 30 in the country in touchbacks.
I kind of have the same mentality every game. Just a lot has changed, but at the same time, it's like you just go out there and you hit your kick, and the next I'm playing another sport out there. It almost feels like it's like a sport inside of a sport. So it's like I get, 2 games or two opportunities a game, so it's like I can't really do much if I'm not trying to go out there with just a fresh mindset and just taking advantage of every moment that I have and just being where my breath's at.
Boomer's confidence has rubbed off on his team, and his consistency has changed the conversation around special teams, from question mark to exclamation point. For a team chasing a 3rd straight Mountain West title, the kicker who once broke their hearts might just be the one who saves them.
That guy has just been unbelievable. It's an underrated statistic how much he can just kick the ball out of the end zone and take the pressure off of special teams.
Gotta have kickoffs, right? Touchbacks. I mean, he leads one of the top kickers in the country, leading in touchbacks. He's been such a great force offensively for this Boise State team. As we take a look at the man the myth, the legend, Mr. Maddox Madsen warming up.
Madsen warming up here right behind us. And Madsen, he's caught a lot of flack for his performance this season. Being the gunslinger here at Boise State, there's this expectation of excellence, right? I mean, these guys, it's hard to follow in the footsteps of all of these legendary quarterbacks that come before you. And Maddox Madsen, he's had to get used to a lot of noise this season from critics, both on and off the field. Madsen, he talked and opened up a little bit about what he's gone through. He's led the Broncos to a 4-2 record so far this season. He struggled against South Florida and Notre Dame, but as a starter, a statistic that I think a lot of Broncos fans can appreciate, he's never lost here on the blue. He's thrown for over 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns this season, but he's caught a lot of flack for his play. The junior gunslinger says he's doing a decent job trying to block out some of that noise, and that's a good thing because some of it has been, quite frankly, unacceptable.
Not death threats, but there's a lot of people, I mean, there's people that are like, I hope you and your family all die with, I'm like, don't bring my family into it, but there's some deep stuff, and it's heartbreaking that someone wants to come at me and say those things. And like you said, Boise State fans especially, that's why I love being here, is because you talk about a good probably 85-90% of the fans that are like real loving, true fans to me, especially, as well as the team. And that's why I love it here. And so I can't look and give those 10-15% of fans any reaction that I would never give them 85-90.
The majority of this fan base, they're loving, kind people. They've been so supportive of Madsen and his play and this team. It's just those few outliers that can really just make an impact. And Coach Danielson said it doesn't matter who you are or what you do. Comments like those are difficult to overcome, regardless of what your position is on the field or how mature you might be.
It's easy to be like, well, it doesn't matter what they say, but when you read it, you feel a certain type of way. For a young man like a Maddox Madsen who does everything for this team, that hurts my heart as a coach that loves and cares about him. When fans and supporters of our program speak a certain way to a guy that would do anything for this team, anything for this program, it hurts my heart. And honestly, I wish it wasn't happening. It is, and it happens everywhere in college football. But I do know these kids love being here. They're here because they want to be here. Not because, well, Boise State's paying me more than another school. No, they want to be here because they love this place, they love this team, and I wish our fans would continue to see that.
Yeah, Danielson says that, you know, this is a guy that he gives his heart to this team and he loves being a Bronco. You gotta shake your head that a player even has to go through this, especially, you know, when we're just talking, at the end of the day, this is just tackle football, right?
22-year-old chasing his dream, playing college football, and you're gonna have comments and threats, regardless of what you think of his opinion, or excuse me, of his performance on the field. You simply don't state those things to athletes or students or anybody ever. You've got to be good human beings at the end of the day. And I understand you got sports betting, you got NIL deals and things like that.
The game's changed.
Still, at the end of the day, Maddox Madsen is a human, and treat others the way you want to be treated. There's simply no room for comments like that, just like you said. Simply unacceptable.
Yep, just, you know, and like we said, a few outliers and a sea of Bronco Nation that has been otherwise very supportive of Madsen. So you might also be surprised to hear he's 9th in the all-time passing yards for Boise State quarterbacks. He's done an excellent job under center. He struggled in some of those bigger games against Penn State and, of course, USF and Notre Dame this year. But he's a guy this offense trusts and leans on in these big moments. This is going to be one of those games today. They're going to need their gunslinger at his best. And those guys, they've got Maddox, they've got all the confidence in the world in their quarterback.
Always have confidence in number 4. Every single player on this offense, defense, special teams, coaching staff, they talk about he is the first guy in, he is the last guy out, he is dedicated to this program, and not only the program, but playing quarterback at this program, representing this university at the highest level on and off the field. He's the guy you want to be playing quarterback. Yes, he hasn't won the big game, and that's what everybody talks about, how he can't get it done on the big stage. But maybe that changes later on this year.
Yeah.
Maybe it starts with this game and then bleeds on to later on this year. You got to give Maddox Madsen a lot of credit, a lot of stats. He's getting up there on all the big-time ranks in Boise State history. At the end of the day, he has been a consistent, strong quarterback option for for Boise State.
Yeah. Well, let's check in on some of the crowd here at Boise State. Here at Albertson Stadium, you'll notice a lot of sunglasses, and you'll notice a lot of black Boise State garb going around the stadium. It's a blackout here tonight as the student section starting to file in here. Still an hour before kickoff and plenty of time to find their seats. But you might notice it's going to get a little warm today. 50-degree day for kickoff. It's blue skies and beautiful. You almost kind of expected Boise State to be wearing their black uniforms to go in line with this blackout theme, Austin.
That's what we talked about, right? If you're going to call for your fans to wear all black, wouldn't you think they would match the jersey all black? But no, they are wearing all blues on the blue turf, which a lot of the Bronco Nation fans say that they should never go away from those uniforms because it creates kind of a camouflage look on the blue for them. It just kind of is very interesting how they call for an all black from the student section and all the fans, but they got all blue on today.
Well, don't worry, Broncos fans, we got you. For nostalgic purposes, let's take you back to 2012 when the Broncos first debuted those
We'll give you the black
uniforms against UNLV.
Bronco Roundup Rewind, sponsored by your local Toyota dealers.
October 20th, 2012. It's the week before Halloween, and the Broncos had a new costume to show off.
Never gets old to see those black unis come roaring out of the tunnel.
Boise State unveiled their black threads during an afternoon game against one of their newer conference opponents, the UNLV Rebels. And boy, did the Broncos pack a punch wearing those jerseys.
Defense, one of the best in the country at turnovers, and they brought that effort again on Saturday.
The Boise State defense terrorized UNLV, forcing 3 turnovers and leaving the Rebels' offensive players black and blue, matching the color scheme of the afternoon. It was the Broncos' first season without Kellen Moore, and while they no longer had the winningest quarterback in college football history, new faces on the team quickly became fan favorites.
Bronco redshirt freshman running back Jay Ajayi would polish this thing off, barreling his way into the end zone.
Bronco faithful came out in full force to support the program's first blackout game. 36,000 cheering loud and proud as the blue-collar Broncos rolled the Rebels in their midnight threats.
Sellout back in 2012, and we've got a sellout this afternoon against the same exact team, the UNLV Rebels. One of the men who helped orchestrate that, 12 consecutive sellouts, Jeremiah Dickey. How are you feeling? Beautiful weather for this game this afternoon.
This is football weather. I'm feeling great. Shout out to Bronco Nation. 12 straight sellouts. I think about where we've come from, and when we first got here, and it was 1, and then it was 2. And we just keep building up. And now also our student section, 11 straight sellouts for them. And they're selling it out within hours. That's what it means to be a part of Bronco Nation. It takes a team, and I'm really grateful for them. And I'm excited to kick this game off.
Go ahead. Oh, you're going to say a lot of excitement around this game. Potentially the last time we'll play UNLV. What does this game mean to you as an athletic director? This is a game that we've seen this team a lot the last couple of seasons. Yeah. 4th time in 3 seasons. Most memorably last December. A memory I'm sure you'll carry for the rest of your life.
Sure. Yeah, it means a lot to me. I'm competitive. But that's why you want to be a part of Bronco Nation and be a Bronco in general. When you think about who we are, these games are important to the fabric of what it means to be a Bronco. And we've always had a bullseye on our back, and UNLV has done really well over the last couple years. Coach Odom and now Mullen, and this is what it's about. You want meaningful games, especially on the blue. And I can't say enough about their AD and their department. They've done a really good job, and so a shout out to them. But it matters here, and we got to go out and earn it and do the work that's required. And you've heard Spencer talk about that. It's 1-0, and our best is required.
There's so many great things happening on the university as far as athletics-wise. Soccer is leading the Mountain West. Yeah. Golf had a couple of wins this week. Obviously, there was a big-time basketball game. But just what can you say just about every single athletic, sport team stepping up and really living up to the what's next and the 1-0 mentality?
Hey, plan the work the plan. That has been part of our strategy and the storytelling since the day I arrived. And I'm really proud of our team. It gives me chills. You know, I understand what football is and basketball, but when you look at 18 sport programs, 360 plus student athletes, and our way of preparing them for life, that is part of our job. And you come to Boise State to compete for championships. You mentioned volleyball, you mentioned soccer. Cross country won 2 meets this week. You know, in women's cross country, you look at men's and women's golf, that's epic. And that's what we're striving for. We're never finished. It's always what's next. We got a huge volleyball match today. We have a huge football game. Basketball played well last night. It's always what's next. And I'm so proud. It makes me so proud to be the athletic director here, where everything counts, everything matters.
Yeah, I want to talk about that game yesterday. I mean, we've been badgering you about when is Idaho going to come to town for football, but here they were yesterday. It was a preseason game, and the turnout was unbelievable. It was loud in there. We've got the highlights. We were there. I mean, that was something that I think fans really connected to. What was your takeaway watching that yesterday?
Well, and the crowd was awesome, you know, and being able to play there, and shout out to Stillheads and Eric and all the guys we work with. They're so awesome. It takes a team, and we have so many great community partners. But to play there and bring back some of those memories, you know, I think both sides, you know, feel that. And it's important to this state, and that's why playing Idaho State in football and Idaho in football, that's important to us. And we're close, you know, it's going to happen. It's just timing and working through. And I was able to talk to the Idaho AD, and she's awesome. And, you know, it truly takes a team. We all care about Idaho, and we represent here at Boise State something bigger than ourselves. We are the front porch of Idaho. And so to bring both programs together last night, I know soccer's played them and volleyball, like a lot of our sport programs have played them, but I envision a time where we're playing them in every sport, and that's great to keep money in our state and really truly to try to do something epic. And I want to help them as much as possible. You know, we're at different levels, and that's okay. You know, that's not a shot at them. They are at FCS, we are an FBS program, and together we can do something epic.
I will go to something not as positive. It was a big talking point this week. Danielson mentioned it on Monday. The fans coming out of halftime, a little bit empty. Yeah. You know, when you need the fans the most in a tight game, they weren't necessarily, not everybody was there, right?
Yeah.
And Danielson said it hurts the players. It hurts them when they walk out and they see that half the stands are empty. So I just want to ask you, I know you're so involved and you care so much. It shows. I mean, you're always involved in every single piece of this organization, of this university. Yeah. So what has kind of been done conversation-wise to try to maybe incentivize some of the students to stay in their seats? What has been the conversation this week about the fans?
No, I appreciate you asking. One, I absolutely love Bronco Nation. I love our students. And like I said, perspective. You know, we went from not selling out games to selling out every game. And student sections, you know, begging for students to come, and now they're coming. There's a lot of ownership and responsibility on me and our team. You know, we have to define the expectations, and I think that's what Spencer was doing. That's what I've been very public about this week. We do have ownership in this, but ownership goes both ways, and it takes a team, and Bronco Nation is elite, and really it's probably hurt feelings of how important everything counts, everything matters. And when you think about recruiting, when you think about our monetization of these games and how we're rev sharing and the power of the blue and all of the above, it takes a team. And we need Bronco Nation more than ever, and this is an important game. I know we've sold it out. It's starting to fill in. We're so excited to take that next step. Some of the things we've done this week, one, defining the expectations. I think that's important. If you don't define them, they will be defined for you. And I needed to make sure, as the leader of this program, that we define that. I absolutely love these guys behind me. I love them. And I need to do my best, and I needed to do more. And so we did that. We did some promotions for our students. Obviously the storytelling around it, you know, help for them, home for us. And it's not about UNLV. It's about anyone who comes in, whether it's football, basketball, soccer, it does not matter. It matters to us here. And that's what we can control, and it takes a team. And we're going to continue to hammer home that point. And I hope it dominoes into basketball. We need to sell out some basketball games. We are going into the Pac-12, and that is an elite basketball conference. That's going to matter. And so, you know, it ties into everything we do in the off season, and every year you're constantly transitioning. You know, you get to the place that you are selling out games. I don't ever want to take those things for granted, and I'm never going to live status quo. If things we're doing aren't working, I'll change them. You know, that's why I'm so active on social. I take a lot of feedback from fans. I want elite. I want to perfect this. Whether it's possible or not, that is my goal day in and day out, and I'm going to continue to do the work. And I know Bronco Nation is in there with me.
Yeah, I think it was a great thing that you went on social media and had said kind of, what does this mean to you?
Yeah.
Right? And so you get people from all over the place, whether it's young, old, telling stories about how much passion and pride goes into this university and the blue and everything like that, to the people that may not understand how special this place is. And that's how you can really keep butts in seats right there, is getting people to kind of understand the grand vision of what this place truly means.
Well, you're absolutely right. Like, it's a humbling experience for me. Yes, I'm the AD and I understand what that means, but my responsibilities, I'm so grateful to be a Bronco and to continue the history and tradition and the brand and how we're elevating from the likes of Gene Blameyer, Mark Coyle, and so on and so forth. This is bigger than me. It's not about me, and yes, I take it personal sometimes because I'm giving 100%, and I know my team is too, and you're absolutely right. The memories and what we are building, I believe in epic, and I'm not going to apologize for having high expectations, and I hope Bronco Nation understands that. We are going to do epic.
Well, and I think that's kind of the final reminder, right, is like the blue on its own is just turf.
Correct.
The thing that makes the blue so special is all of these fans. Not to sound corny, but that's what makes this place magical and so tough to beat. And that's what gets these players energized on those big games like what we have here this afternoon.
You're right. I mean, you think about, UNLV's an elite team. And, the blue is worth points to us. Right? And in any of our home facilities, the blue obviously is what we all represent. It's the people, and people are our greatest asset, and everyone has responsibility in that. And that's something that I need to do a better job of reminding people. I don't want to ever take winning for granted. I don't want to take that we're going to sell out every game. It's ready, aim, fire. Change is inevitable, and we have to continue to adapt, and that's on me to figure it out with our team. And Bronco Nation, we got to lock arms, we got to unite, and let's go do epic.
Well, I want to leave you with the last thought here. I know you're always 10 steps ahead of everybody, so this is your chance. Is there anything coming down the pipe or anything exciting you wanted to see it talk about?
I won't give any clues, but yes, it is always what's next. I'm already thinking into next season and football scheduling and other events we're driving. We have to think that way. And as I said, I'm not going to live status quo. It's never good enough for me. I hold myself to a high standard, and there's more work ahead of us. But I'm excited. I think Bronco Nation will be excited. And, that extra mile decision, I mean, that's going to cause a domino when you think about the experience we can provide, how we've upgraded Albertson Stadium, and the goal to upgrade extra mile and add premium space, and what we're doing at the east side of the stadium and other events that are coming in. It is always what's next. I have an unbelievable team. They're locked in. They're in the foxhole with me, and I promise Bronco Nation, I don't guarantee, I don't overpromise and underdeliver, and I don't guarantee wins. I don't concern myself with that. I concern myself with process, and I know our team does as well, and we are not finished. It is what's next.
And I know you say no, but I feel like you should go in and give the halftime speech every week. It's something special. Hey, thanks so much for being on again.
Thank you guys for being
Always
here.
A pleasure.
Go Broncos. I love you, Bronco Nation.
Appreciate you.
We'll see you later. Jeremiah Dickey, the athletic director for Boise State, always so energized. I've never seen him.
I need that energy. What is in his coffee? Because I feel like it's something that we could really use.
I grabbed some for the break room, and I'm like not feeling it the same way he is, clearly. So yeah, he's got some extra
is
juice.
an understatement.
Yeah, it is terrific. Fans starting to fill in. The stadium starting to darken a little bit in the lower bowl as the blackout continues. This is going to be an exciting, loud matchup again against a tough UNLV squad. Boise State headed back into the locker room. One of the players that I feel like we don't talk enough about, Malik Sherrod.
Yeah.
That's a guy they brought in, this 5'8" speedster. You can see him here behind us, standing in the end zone. We've captured a lot of shots of him, just some ISO shots. Wondering when he might take off on the punt return game, because that's why they brought him in. He's elusive, he's fast. We saw him get a touchdown against Boise State when he played for Fresno State.
Yeah, the biggest thing for the special teams for this team is you got to be able to block for number 8. Because when he touches the football, he truly does, and I know it could be cliche, but he truly does have an opportunity to go for 6. And I think that's been the biggest problem for this team so far with getting Malik Sherrod the touches on kick return and on punt return. Obviously, you can't control the kickoffs, but punt return is where it's at. That's got to be your bread and butter to want to block for a guy that can really go spark your offense really fast and get you a touchdown.
And Boise State special teams coach knows that all too well. He says they are focused on getting Malik Sherrod some more touches.
We've
we've got to make sure we get Malik open. Malik's got the ability. He's catching the ball extremely well. We bring a lot of pressure on punt blocks, so what you see a little bit, sometimes punters get sped up, the balls are not as good. But at the end of the day, when we get our shot to shoot, and maybe it's one a game, I don't know. You know, analytics, you're seeing maybe a few less punts, but regardless of what that is, we've got to make sure when he gets his opportunity, we're giving him the space to make those plays and make it a positive game.
And you could just see Malik Sherrod in practice, how quick those feet move. And he's a guy, if they can just find a way to get a little bit more time, maybe it's something to contain the Gunners on special teams a little better, to give him a better path. He only averages about 6 yards per return on the punt. So if they can unlock that, I feel like they unlock a new weapon and a new element of their team. And they say special teams wins and loses games. That would be a huge component to unlock, especially today against UNLV.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, too, is they've got to look at the scheme, right? Like, what are they doing in practice that is not translating to the game field, right? So you feel like at practice they've got some certain things down. There's holes open. You can't live tackle, obviously, in practice this late in the season. But what are they doing scheme-wise that's not working on the field? They've got to change something, and it's got to start tonight against an undefeated team coming in here really hungry, new head coach, looking for a big-time win, a win they haven't had in over a quarter of a century. I mean, it is just absolutely
half a century.
Insane how long it's been since this team's beat this Boise State team. So punt return could be a huge piece of the Boise State offense this afternoon.
The other piece is going to be, of course, going to be Sire Gaines, and it's going to be, of course, Dylan Riley. They chipped away last week, against the Lobos. Both of them got incredible amounts of carries. Sire Gaines, of course, hitting the stat sheet with 2 touchdowns. Dylan Riley had 18 touches for 100 yards. Sire Gaines, 20 touches, getting those 2 touchdowns. These guys can wear a team out. It was great to see them in action. But let's talk about Ben Ford, man. The other guy making headlines, the local making it big against New Mexico last week.
Yeah, hey, when Dylan Riley and Sire Gaines are having big-time games, that leads to the passing offense and Maddox Matson finding his guy, which is, like you said, a local kid really making a name for himself. And it may be a little corny, but we're calling him Ben Ford Tough.
Matson uncorks one down the seam, has a man, it's caught! One play, touchdown Boise State, it's Ben Ford! On a field known for legends, sometimes the biggest moments come from the humblest beginnings. Ben Ford grew up right here in the Treasure Valley, watching the Broncos, dreaming of the day he could wear the blue and orange himself. And now he's not just wearing it, he's making history in it. Ford entered the 2024 season with just 4 career receptions, and no one outside the locker room expected him to be a headline maker. But half a season later, he's caught 5 touchdowns on the blue, becoming one of the most reliable weapons on this offense. Hard work, patience, and perseverance. These aren't simple buzzwords for Ford. They're his foundation, built through rehab, reps, and resilience.
Man, Ben Ford, guys, local kid, been through the ringer in his time at Boise State. Season-ending injury after season-ending injury, shoulder, knees, but an absolute warrior. And Ben Ford's a guy that has become one of our best players, and that's earned. That's not because coaches just like him. He's earned every bit of that, and I cannot be more happy for him, and he deserves all of it.
A local kid living out his dreams on the blue. Ben Ford's story is one of perseverance and patience. He's waited for this moment, earned every snap, and made the most of every touch. Nothing's been handed to him, and that's why every score hits home. Ford's breakout moments have come in some of the biggest games this year. Multiple scores against New Mexico and a career-high 6 receptions for 78 yards. A long way from where he started.
It's been crazy at times. It's been hard at times. It's been good at times. So yeah, right now I feel like I'm just kind of reaping the benefits of what I've done this whole time I've been here. Really, just like I said, being consistent and trying to show up with the same mindset most days and be able to get better at everything. So I feel like I've done a good job of that, and now reaping those benefits.
In a season filled with new faces and new stars, Ford's story stands out because it's real. Built from hard work, faith, and heart. the blue-collar way that Boise State football was built on. For Ben Ford, this is more than football. It's family, it's hometown pride, and it's proof that dreams do come true, especially when you're built Ford tough.
And he has all of these local fans like the Smurfs cheering him on from the student section. We got some guys up there in some body paint getting crazy. I hope there's sunscreen built into that because it's a hot one out there today.
It is not the uniform you want to be wearing if the sun's out. You might get a little sunburn with all that paint on there. But they're trying to be like the players. They're wearing all blue. They got the Smurfs going on, no shirts. They're ready to go.
I love it. I love it. They're buying in, as Jeremiah Dickey might say. So excellent to see. Fans starting to find their seats here. That brings us to our keys of the game.
Bronco Roundup Keys to the Game is sponsored by your local Ford stores.
Key to the game, number one, they have to stop the run game. Boise State, that is. UNLV is dang
line. They have to protect Maddox Madsen, but that's actually key number 3. We're going to key number 2, limit the Rebels. It says
for 3 there, protect your quarterback, Mr. Maddox Madsen. This is a guy who got sacked 4 times against the Lobos last Saturday night. As good as his performance was overall, it's tough to win games when you play behind the chains, especially one of those sacks happened right during the 2-minute drill. They call a timeout, then he gets sacked again right out of that timeout. Tough to win games like that, so if they can protect him a little bit better here on the blue, I like their chances. Let's take a look. You mentioned it. UNLV looking to be kings of the mountain this year. They're looking to topple Boise State for the first time in nearly half a century. Here's what's at stake here in the Mountain West Conference standings. It could play a key role in the Rebels, who are currently sitting at top of the Mountain West. A Boise State win would propel the Broncos to first or second place, with San Diego State on a bye this week. Huge implications for the Mountain West Championship down the line.
Got to have a win here if you're Boise State. UNLV undefeated. You expect a team that's come out that hot to start the season to continue to win down the road. You don't want to lose this football game and then potentially not host a Mountain West Championship. So Boise State got to be locked in, got to be focused from the kick, ready to go, get a big-time win today.
All right, so that brings us to the moment we are all waiting for. Austin, your game prediction here tonight.
Game prediction, this is a UNLV team. I kind of teased to it in the keys to the game. Their record of opponents that they've faced is 10-23. 10-23. A lot of people are calling them paper tigers. That's what they're calling them. I don't think they're as good as their record states. I think Boise State gets the job done 40-20. The Broncos atop the Mountain West, first place 3-0.
I think it's going to be a lot of fireworks too. 49-28, that's my prediction. Boise State on top, of course. That cannon is going to get some work today from right here on the sidelines. It's going to be exciting. We threw a lot at you. We were rambling a lot. If you want a more concise, consolidated, excellent deep dive into Boise State stats, get the Game Day Guide. It's produced by our very own Carson Cloud.
The man, the myth, the legend.
He is fantastic. He's boothing our show right now. He produces this every week. It's everything you need to know about Game Day. Text BSU to 208-321-5614. We are 10 minutes away from kickoff. We got to get our set tear down and get ready to go for this, partner.
Got to get this camera going. I got to get on the field. The band's coming on. This is my favorite part.
It's going to be awesome. Hey, this is going to be an exciting game. We'll have all the post-game coverage after for the 10 o'clock news here tonight. Should be a good one. We're looking forward to it.
Undefeated UNLV versus the Boise State Broncos. If that doesn't fire you up, you probably shouldn't be watching football.
Or drink whatever JD is drinking in his coffee. Get excited. We'll see you after the game. Thanks for being with us here for Bronco Game Day.
School of the Arts is proud. Presenting.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVB Plus app everywhere you stream.